these are some renderings of the park, and the big park plan is up there where Scott is. And what we're talking about doing right now is just developing this northern third of it, because we don't know what future development's going to be to the south and to the east. And until we do, we really, there is a master plan that there might be pavilions and kind of an outdoor event space, but without knowing what that development is, we didn't want to go that far. So it's all meant to really kind of pick up on the landscape of the Flint Hills in an artistic way. And so there's a water feature that sort of emulates, a natural watershed through the Flint Hills. We're talking about using a tumbled glass aggregate in the floor of it, so that in the wintertime it's still something to look at and can be pretty. And then we show some ideas to do something stunning in the holiday season, because we think this will be a really great place to have some really neat year-round events, but particularly the holidays with the tie-in with the hotel and conference center. Two of those things are some great big huge outdoor fireplaces that have openings on all four sides and little roof outcroppings so that it holds the heat. And these are meant to be little gathering niches so that when busloads of people are dropped off at the Discovery Center, you can't handle all of those at once in the lobby and be able to give them all the tour at the same time, and you've got the outdoor space to do that year-round. The hotel developer's really excited about this too, because he can really actually do some really neat programming out there, whether it's just hot cider and donuts on a Friday night. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to use it that I think it's a different kind of park for Manhattan, and I think it'll be a really fun element for the neighborhood.
But if they were, say, all the same color, it wouldn't look so much like it was a chessboard.
Yeah, and I think we wanted to have some differentiation, because if it was all a similar color pavement, it would look a little monotonous. And I think it will help that we are going to be using some of these native plant materials, particularly along through the edge and in these planters and through here, that will kind of help soften it up.
Going to have enough sun to survive.
Yeah, and that's going to be a challenge. You'll have to use some of those woodland plantings and fine textured trees to let as much sun in there as possible.
Explain the fireplace.
The fireplace, well,
what are we burning?
We are likely burning gas, natural gas.
Do we need them?
Well, the intent is that we can expand the season of the plaza to have a nice warming element that we can gain 3 or 4 months out of the year.
For the different areas, if somebody wants to grab a sandwich at the hotel or the Discovery Center and eat it over here, but there's a bunch of loud kids, I mean, you can kind of move around and do whatever you want.
That was actually kind of a key component in some of the things that we designed around the plaza, because he's estimating he's going to have groups of around 50 people that are going to be unloading that bus coming in this plaza. And so we've actually kind of designed some of these spaces around the fireplaces and in this little area here within this node to accommodate this scale of crowds. So this can really it can not only be an extension to the Discovery Center, it can be an extension to the Convention Center, and a really great resource for the city, for the general public that's wanting to enjoy the entertainment center.
And so we'll do something that's fun that kids will like to put their finger in there and interrupt the flow of water. And then it'll all spill into this trough and flow down here, doing different things like weirs, and we want some of these laminar jets coming out of the rocks on the side and spraying, and maybe even some chaser jets chasing down the length of it.
When is this supposed to all be completed?
Well, the park will be actually constructed with the Discovery Center, so it'll be done about the same time the Discovery Center is. It's meant to do all sorts of things with different water effects. And then at this point, and you can actually walk over it, so it'll disappear underneath you and resurface here, and then disappear, and all of this will keep recirculating. But at this point, it becomes interactive and an at-grade thing with variable jets. There'll be ceiling lights too, but we wanted something else that, could stand to graffiti. I mean, if we did something to the walls, they could get messed up, but these are really durable and they're actually recessed into the pavement. This is an application at the Kansas City Art Institute that we did that shows, and they change colors.
We don't know exactly.
And I mean, this is what is that? Is that all pavers
This
also?
is no,
The whole
no.
patch?
This is concrete, and these are set in concrete. Actually, at the
Okay.
Art Institute, they're set in a different kind of paver, but here they'll be set in concrete.
Okay.
And then this will be a stone retaining wall to retain the earth on either side, and that would be the same treatment on both sides. So you'd have this where that flares out, and there'd be a featured landscape. And then there would be an interpretive sign sitting here that interprets the depot.
Oh, very good.
And then it would be the same style that you see on North 4th Street. Everybody, we got some really great comments, I think. I'm going to kind of be all around here because these notes are a little bit all around. But again, I'm going to repeat the connectivity, the trail piece, I think, and tunnel is really important. And especially once the second part of the development happens on the south and the east, where we have the full loop and everybody can get around walking, I think the whole south downtown neighborhood feels like they can't get to the depot, and that's going to be a real key element for them to be able to walk that. Real positive about the LED pavers. Everybody thought that was pretty exciting to think that that would be set off by motion. So they wouldn't be turned on all the time, but as soon as somebody enters one into the tunnel, they'll all flicker on and change colors. And that safety notion of that, too, was real positive. The dimensions of the tunnel seemed nice. I mean, they are generous. I mean, we're not squishing that down, and we probably will have some removable bollards so that people will not be tempted to drive a car through there, but maintenance people can be able to get a gator through there or something. But I think real positive comments on the depot. And positive comments on some of the improvements that were conceptualized here for the depot to keep truck traffic, unwanted truck traffic, from coming in the main entry. It's been a real problem. Semis think that entry into the depot is really the on-ramp entry, and then they get in there and they can't get out. And they've ruined some of the landscape and curbs, and it's been a continuing problem. So we've proposed some changes here that hopefully will clear that up. On to the park development. Again, some positive comments about the referential things that we're doing to pick up the Kansas Flint Hills landscape. And it's meant to be kind of in an artistic form, not what do I want to say? Literal. Thank you, Scott. I do want to make one apology because we did not put a little note on the Union Pacific Depot sign. I'm kind of jumping around here, but those historic photographs that we are using on our interpretive signs throughout the district, we have 3 of them proposed. We're working with Cheryl Collins at Riley County Historic Society, and they have been diligently working with Steve Lee of S&N Design to pull those together, and I should have had a label on that photo, and I do apologize. That won't happen again. Anyway, the park water feature and all of its different effects, I think, was well received. People like the idea of the tumbled glass, using recycled glass in the floor of the fountain. Some questions about maintenance and making those fireplaces in particular maintainable, because they can almost end up to be kind of a trash pit if you don't take care of that in ways. So we did plan to have a decorative grate on the front of it for obvious reasons, and so we'll have to make sure that that can be removed by maintenance staff and be carefully maintained. There's a lot of things to flesh out in these designs. We're really early on, and that's why we wanted to have this session before we get too far and understand what your feelings were about these things. Some comments about not enough prairie and don't short the green space, particularly some comments about maybe too much pavement on the paved part of the park. But remember that all that green is going to be green right off the bat, and so there will be a significant lawn area that you'll be able to enjoy too. Possible locations for weddings in that lawn area was mentioned. Possible revenue stream of having a shelter, possibly in this first development, and if you recall, we show the rendering between the 2 fireplaces with a roof and without a roof, so if it had a roof, it would be a shelter, so that might be one thing to consider. We're trying to get some ideas of how you feel about whether we should join those fireplaces with a roof or not. Safety and access was a question of how the fire department might be able to get to the park quickly if anything happened, and I think with its adjacency to Colorado and 3rd Street, I think that took care of that issue. And I think that covers it. Positive comments about the millstone too.